And Ange Postecoglou has been speaking. He actually spoke on Friday in terms of the press conference and the team news. What have we got to talk about today?
Yeah, promising, really promising stuff. First of all, we'll touch on Rodrigo Bentancur. So Bentancur is now back training with the team and in full training. He said he's not match fit yet. He won't be available this weekend in the squad because he's got to manage the situation carefully. But the fact that he's back in training and training with the first team is very, very encouraging, and that's got to put excitement in a lot of Tottenham fans' eyes. You saw the videos in training, him linking up with Madison as well. He's looking sharp. So
silky.
Yeah, he is, and I can't wait to get him back involved. We know how good he is. So really, really promising news. Maybe in the next few weeks we might see him drip fed back into the team, sub appearances, and then hopefully he'll make his way into the team. Lo Celso's back in full training. Brian Hill's back in full training, so they're going to be available for this weekend. But other than that, they're obviously Basuma suspended. He's not going to be available. Man or Solomon obviously has a long-term injury. So does Perisic. So does Sessegnon. And I can't remember who else is on the graphic there, but
Mano.
Yeah, so I said Mano. Mano's got a long-term injury. Brennan's a doubt, but he sounds like he is going to be available this weekend because he only had a slight knock before or slight injury before the weekend. So it's not exactly a clean bill of health, but definitely more promising signs.
We're getting back there, aren't we? And we had so many scares over international break. It seems like we have so many scares every week for this team.
Yeah, Romero
all the time, Sonny all the time, and I was watching parts of that South Korea game when Sonny was playing, and I was like, he was going down literally every 20 minutes, every 25 minutes, and it was just like, oh, just take the guy off, please. And Romero's the one that went off at halftime, and we're all thinking the worst because of that, and he's fine. So it looks as though that things are definitely more positive now than they looked on international break.
Just quickly touching on Romero, him saying after he said why he got taken off, he said he was he felt a bit of in his ankle and he wanted to make sure he was available for the game on Monday, big game against Fulham. So that was really nice to hear, and it also maybe puts to bed any of that people saying he cares about Argentina more than Spurs. And I mean, maybe he does, but in terms of people saying he's willing to sacrifice Spurs for Argentina, all that kind of stuff, and maybe that goes against that narrative, which was nice to see.
I think it shows as well the growing responsibility that Kuti is carrying on his chest with the vice captaincy and stuff. I mean, we've spoken about it all season, haven't we? How good Romero's looked this season and how much more responsibility he's taken on. And I think that's just another example of it, to be honest. But let's get into the lineup. We're going to go for a 4-3-3 formation as per usual. In goal, Vicario. Got called up to Italy, but didn't make any minutes. But he's been definitely the standout goalkeepers in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, definitely. And that's not to be sniffed at because we're looking at a few keepers now, aren't we, who've joined their new clubs. You got Raya at the moment, who seems to be struggling a bit in the last few games. Onana's had massive struggles. So it's not easy going into a new club and performing at a high level like Vicario has done. And not only is he performing at a high level, you could argue maybe the most informed keeper in the league right now, maybe apart from Alisson.
And you actually look at it as well with David Raya. That's the one that we were supposed to be going for, right? And cast your mind back to the North London derby time. They were all the Arsenal fans were telling us, oh, there's no chance Vicario is better than any of our keepers. Well, if you take everything out of the equation and just look at Vicario's performances and Raya's performances so far this season, there's no doubt in my mind Vicario has been the better keeper.
He's been head and shoulders above both those keepers and a lot of other keepers this season. He's got the highest save percentage in the league so far this season. So I think when it comes to shot stopping, he's been sensational. And then he's been really good with the ball at his feet as well and been very composed. And he seems to be improving that element of his game as well week by week. So brilliant start so far. And obviously he gets the nod.
Yeah, so Vicario goal. Right back is obviously going to be Pedro Porro, who again has been one of the standout right backs in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. Really stepped up his game defensively this season to a lot to the surprise of a lot of Spurs fans. Hopefully in this game he can show a bit more of his ability going forward, because against a very stubborn Fulham team, we might need a bit of quality from deep positions to kind of break him down. And we know Porro definitely can pull that off. So yeah, he definitely gets the nod here.
Alongside him on the right centre-back position, we did have a bit of a scary international break, but he is going to be fit to face Fulham, and that is Kuti Romero.
Yeah, really, really great to hear. And it's going to be important. Obviously, they don't have the biggest threats in the forward line. Like we expect Raul Jimenez to probably start. And although what I would say about Jimenez is he's not scoring, but he is still making a bit of an impact when it comes to kind of his hold-up play and general play. He's still fairly decent at that. but when it comes to his ability in the box, attacking things like he used to, like from headers and stuff, he's definitely struggling. So I think Romero's main task in this game isn't going to be to keep Jimenez quiet. It's going to be more to, when he has the ball, to make sure he's providing line-breaking passes with quality as much as possible, and we know that he's got that in him.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up is Mickey van der Ven at left centre-back. He got his first minutes in the Netherlands shirt this weekend and looked fairly good at times, albeit, I don't know if you saw it in one of the games, he nearly gave away a goal against Greece. But apart from that, I thought he was stellar. But again, one of the top-performing centre-backs in the Premier League this season. Yeah,
and I thought he was the only good player when we played Fulham in the Carabao Cup in what was a really poor performance on the night. We know what he's all about. He's been so consistent this season. We'll see if Adama Traore does play in this game, maybe he's going to have a bit more work out for him. But if not, I just see it being a fairly comfortable day for Van der Ven.
Yeah, let's hope so. And then to make up that back four on the left-hand side of the defence will be Destiny Udogie, who got his debut as well for Italy during the international break. First start against England as well. And he performed fairly well, getting his obligatory yellow card in the first 10 minutes. But no, Destiny as well is going to be really important in this game.
And he came on against Malta and got an assist, if I recall, on his debut. So hopefully that gives him even more like justification for how well he's been playing this season, getting his first caps for Italy as well, and also playing well. So hopefully that really shows him he belongs at this level, if he hasn't already proved that to himself with his performances so far at the beginning of this season, which has been phenomenal. He's been so impressive, and I back him in this one. He's probably going to come up against Harry Wilson, I would assume, who's been playing most of the time on the right-hand side, and I expect Udogie to eat him alive.
Absolutely. So let's go through that back four with you guys one more time. It's Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro, Romero, Mickey van der Ven, and Destiny Udogie. In the number 6 position, we're going to go for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Ange Postecoglou all pretty much confirmed it in the press conference that Højbjerg is the ready-made replacement for Yves Bissouma.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. And as much as there is going to be a bit of like because of how good Bissouma's been this season, there's a bit of trepidation, obviously, when he's not going to be available for this game. But Højbjerg, people forget, is a good player in his own right. He's not this dud that maybe people make him out to be. He is a very competent footballer who's done a good job for this season when called upon by and large from sub-appearances. I think he's done a good job. I think he can do the 6 role to a decent level. And I think even if he has to fill in for a game, I think he should have enough to be able to deal with it. So I'm confident Højbjerg can have a good game here.
Yeah, but he needs to have a much better game than he had at Craven Cottage earlier this season, because he was absolutely shocking that day. So hopefully he can learn from that display and put a much better one, albeit he did score against Fulham last season at home as well. So he's got previous against Fulham. But in terms of the other midfielder we're going to talk about is Pape Matar Sarr, another player that we had a scare with in international break. He went off after the hour mark for Senegal with an ice pack on his knee, but he seems to be absolutely fine.
Yeah, which is really great to hear. And he's going to be important just to add those legs in the middle, because Fulham's midfield three, I'm going to assume it's going to be Paulinho, probably Andreas Pereira, and probably Harrison Reed, I would say. And it is not the easiest midfield three to kind of deal with. They got a lot of energy and they're very hardworking, very disciplined. And when you've got someone like Sarr who's just buzzing around and not letting them breathe, that's going to be very important to just making sure we're sustaining the pressure and allowing us to win. So Sarr's going to be very important in this game.
Yeah, and alongside Pape Matar Sarr to make up that midfield three will be James Madison. And I get the feeling he's going to be the most important player for Spurs this weekend in terms of trying to break them down with the quality and the creativity that Madison has. He's going to be imperative to have a good game if we're going to get anything.
Yeah, for me, so far, to be being the Premier League's best player so far this season, every challenge and every kind of defensive midfielder he's come up against, he's pretty much got the better of, and it's been really, really impressive showing from James Madison so far. João Paulinho is going to be another challenge, and he's going to be one of his toughest challenges yet, but he's got the quality to overcome it, and he's been like that. I've just no doubt that Madison can find the time and space that he needs, even on a few occasions, to find moments of quality to get goals for us or create chances. So he's going to be super important, but I'm backing him. And also with Lo Celso back as well, thankfully we have that alternative to him, or even to partner him if things aren't going our way late in the game as well. So that's really positive.
All right, so Højbjerg, Sarr and Madison in the middle of the park. On the right-hand side of the attack, it's obviously going to be Dejan Kulusevski, who's, I think, has had an underrated role this season, hasn't he?
I agree, and I think he's been playing really well. Definitely hasn't been getting made the plaudits he deserves for some of his performances so far this season. Again, we now do have alternatives to him. We've got Brennan Johnson coming back in. We've got Brian Hill, who seems to be fully integrated into the first team, and he's looking sharp as well. So hopefully that gives good alternatives to him if Kulusevski isn't working. But I think Kulusevski's been doing great. Anthony Robinson on the left-hand side is not an easy player to play against, especially with his physicality. But I'm backing Kulusevski to get the better of him.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to note that, isn't it? Because you look at before the international break with the options that we've had off the bench to change games hasn't really been inspiring. But that's kind of changing a little bit now with the likes of Brian Hill, Giovanni Lo Celso, and a few others that we have, Brennan Johnson, to come off the bench and really change things. But in terms of the number 9 position is obviously going to be HeungMin Son, our captain, who since moving to the number 9 has just been absolutely sensational. And this is his first game after picking up Player of the Month award as well.
Yeah, he's had a brilliant month and he's playing so well. I think Fulham are struggling in their centre-back role at the moment because Tosin's injured. I believe Issa Diop is out, and I believe one of Basiorim, I believe, is out or suspended or something like that for this game. So I read before on that they're struggling for centre-back, so maybe Paulinho might play or something in centre-back in this game. So Sonny will definitely be looking at that as an opportunity to get the better of him. And
Adebayo, Tete and Diop.
Yeah, I read for some reason they're considering playing Paulinho at centre-back. So I think one of the other two might be injured or something, or it was suspended or something. I can't remember why. But I did read that in the pre-match press conference. So Sonny will definitely be licking his lips when it comes to that. There has been his struggles when teams are sitting deep and defending in a low block, but I think he's starting to kind of adapt to it a bit more, playing in that role a bit more consistently. And we saw against Arsenal, if you give him even an inch, he's got the finishing ability to punish you, and if he can do that in this game, I believe he's got the ability to do that in this game. So as much as he has struggled, I think this is a game where I actually see he might get a few opportunities.
All right. And then to make up the final 11 is Richarlison on the left-hand side. It is a bit of a toss-up between him and Brennan Johnson. He has favoured Brennan Johnson maybe before Brennan got injured, but Brennan probably is going to be available for selection. But maybe with him having a late fitness test and Richarlison with an upturn of form since the last international break, I think we've just sided with Richarlison for this one. Yeah,
and I think as well, having Richarlison's aerial ability in that final third is definitely a weapon that we need and we don't have without him. So I think for now, considering I know against Luton he missed chances, but he was getting in those positions to miss the chances. And as long as he's keep getting in those positions, I'm backing him to put a few of them away. And hopefully he can carry on his good form, well, not good form, but better form, I would say, from before the international break. So I'm backing Richarlison to start again.
All right, so let's run through that lineup with you guys one more time. So in goal is Vicario, right back Pedro Porro, left back Destiny Udogie, with the centre back pairing of Cuti Romero and Mickey van de Ven. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Papi Matar and James Madison make up our 3-man midfield, with Dejan Kulusevski and Richarlison supporting HeungMin Son. In our match preview, we both went 2-0. Are you sticking with that?
I'm sticking with it, yeah.
All right, so 2-0 is our predictions. Let us know in the comment section below. Do you think this will be the starting 11? If not, let me know your changes in the comment section below. Let us know your score predictions in the comment section below.